Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So these quote unquote woke people really make me sick, man. Just to be upfront. And I've done a couple of videos on this before, but they really do, man. Anytime, black people are celebrating something, here come these quote unquote woke people to piss on the parade. Here come these quote unquote woke people to invent reasons why black people shouldn't celebrate something, why black people shouldn't be a part of something, why black people shouldn't support something. And the latest victim of these quote unquote woke people is the woman king. So you got all these woke people, quote unquote, doing all these videos on TikTok attacking the woman king for a variety of reasons. And I'll get into those reasons in a second. But the thing that I find interesting is that whenever some positive film comes out, that presents positive images of black people, here come these woke people coming up with all kinds of reasons why black people shouldn't support that project. These are the same quote unquote woke people who saw a 2-minute trailer of Black Panther and they came up with all these reasons why black people shouldn't support Black Panther. One of the few positive films, creating positive images of Africa in particular and of black people in particular. But yet and still, here come these quote unquote woke people to invent reasons why black people shouldn't support that project. One of the few black superheroes, and those woke people didn't support that project either in the beginning. And then since Black Panther has been released, those people have been proven to be complete buffoons and idiots for encouraging black people not to support one of the most powerful black films that have been on the screen in a long time. And that's basically what's going on here, with the woman king. So all on TikTok, I've been seeing all these videos of all these people coming up with all these reasons to attack the woman king. And the thing that's interesting is that these people don't have the same kind of energy for films and projects that actually promote stereotypes of black people. They don't have the same kind of energy when it comes to rap music, some of this negative rap music that promotes the image of the black man as a drug dealer, as a killer, as a womanizer, as a drug user. They don't have any problems with that. Like, I don't see them rushing to do all these videos when these rap artists put out these multi-million selling platinum albums promoting all these negative stereotypes about black people. I don't see them having that same kind of energy for those kind of projects. I don't see them having the same kind of energy for, these reality shows on television that actually promote negative images of black women in particular, having black women yelling and fussing and fighting and acting all crazy and stuff like that, and the black men womanizing and treating women awful. They're not like all outraged to see that kind of stuff. They're not all on social media doing video after video talking about that and condemning that kind of stuff. They're not doing that. They don't have that same kind of energy for those kind of images. They don't have that same kind of energy for when 50 Cent releases a new project on Stars. And let's not get it twisted. I watch varieties of things, even, some of the negative images, but they don't have that same kind of energy for, a 50 Cent when he releases, BMF movies, like black mafia, family films on Stars. They don't have that same kind of energy. They don't have that same kind of energy for all those power shows that 50 has released that celebrate, drug dealing and killing and gang lifestyle. They don't have that same kind of energy or criticism for actual negative images of black people. But here you have a film that's celebrating black royalty, black kingdoms, black women as warriors, you know, and it features some of the greatest black actresses that we have seen that are on the rise. All of a sudden, here come these hoteps, here come these fake woke people with all this criticism and all this critique, but they don't have that same kind of energy for actual stereotypes of black people. And I find that to be odd. I find that to be suspect. So here's my response to like some of the substantive things that they have said. Like some people have talked about the role that the Dahomey played in the slave trade. And I think that that's a valid point. It is valid that and it is actual facts that the Dahomey Empire participated in the slave trade. You know, nobody is disputing that at all. And the thing is, in the film, they acknowledge the role of the Dahomey in the slave trade. It's not like it's ignored. It is something that is addressed in that film. So let's not pretend like it wasn't addressed. Let's not pretend like Hollywood is trying to rewrite history in this particular case. They did actually talk about the role that the Dahomey played in the slave trade. That comes up in the film. They talk about how the king basically got rich off of the slave trade. That is mentioned in the film. So I don't think that that's a legitimate reason not to see this film. Because it's not like it was something that was hidden. And if we go by the standard that we're not going to support anything that had anything at all to do with the slave trade, then, you know, people may as well write off their African identity, period, because many Africans participated in the slave trade. Many of the great empires in Africa that we celebrate, that we like to talk about and stuff like that, many of them participated in the slave trade. A lot of the items that we wear to symbolize African culture come from the very same groups that participated in the slave trade. So I don't think that that's the right standard to use in terms of deciding, well, I'm not going to support a project. I'm not going to support something. When that role, the role of the slave trade is already mentioned in the film, when, to do so would mean we would basically cut ourselves off from anything dealing with Africa because many African tribes participated in the slave trade. And the other thing is, a lot of times what happens is we end up fixated on the role that Africans play while ignoring the primary and central role that white people played in the enslavement of black people. And I have a problem with that. I have an issue with that. And the other thing is this, like there are plenty of films that are done that touch on historical subjects, but we have to be clear, like Hollywood's role is not to provide you with some kind of history lesson or something like that. Hollywood's role is not to replace history books. And we have to understand that we need to do the heavy lifting and do the research on our own. And films like this should inspire us to want to learn more about the Dahomey and more about other African tribes and nations and stuff like that. We can't be relying on a 2-hour film to give us our history, to teach us something. We need to get the information, hopefully this will inspire discussion, and it has. Like, one of the good things about these Hotep people raising this issue is that it inspires some to actually do the heavy lifting and actually read the books. But too many of us are intellectually lazy. We don't want to read books and all that kind of stuff. And we want Hollywood to spoon feed us everything, which is sick in and of itself. And, the other thing is this, like there are plenty of other films that touch on historical subjects, but you don't see people saying, well, let's boycott, Gladiator because it's not historically accurate. Like, let's boycott this because it doesn't have every single detail about history in it. we come up with all these nitpicking reasons to hate on something that has positive images of black people. And without a doubt, this film has positive images of black people. It has first of all, the role of black women in this film is unprecedented. Like, you rarely have films that feature black women as central action characters. You rarely have films like that, where black women are courageous, where black women are strong, where black women are standing up. You rarely have these types of films. So this is not something that should be crapped upon because of, these different issues that these hoteps are raising. The other thing is this, like, with respect to, some people made points about the title, it being titled The Woman King, talking about like black women being presented as masculine and all this kind of stuff. And people talking about how it's emasculating the black man and all this ridiculous stuff. First of all, this film does not emasculate black men. A black king is still reigning in that kingdom. The black man is still the one in charge, running things and dictating things and, issuing orders. So this is not a film that's quote unquote promoting matriarchy, because there are still black male warriors in this film. And it's like, I think that a lot of black men have real fragile type of egos. They have a real fragile sense of manhood. So it's like any strong image of black womanhood threatens their fragile sense of manhood. And I think that that's sad, man. Why can't we support and celebrate images of strong black women? And again, there are strong black men in this film. The king is the man running things in this film. And there are, again, male soldiers in this film. And the thing is, the woman king does not replace the actual king. She just gets a position where she is a co-ruler with the king. And in fact, she was a general who reported to the king. So bottom line is this: I think a lot of this criticism of this film is unwarranted. I think a lot of it is, just a prime example of how, unfortunately, some of these quote unquote woke people end up working against the interests of black people. Anytime, Hollywood puts out a film and a film, either does well or doesn't do well, that sends a message to Hollywood, either to create more of those types of films or create less of them. Unfortunately, this film did well, and I'll talk about that in a second. This film did very well at the box office, so hopefully we will see more images of African historical characters and more images of black royalty on the big screen. But the thing is, like, often what happens is when they put out these hood movies, when they put out these movies about drug dealing, we flock to the theaters to see that stuff. And that tells Hollywood that those are the types of images that people want to see of black folks. So they put out more and more of those types of films. And hopefully now that we're showing that we support films like a Black Panther, we support films like The Woman King, we'll see more of these positive, strong images of black people. And the other thing is this: the box office success of The Woman King is another example of just how irrelevant a lot of these quote unquote woke people actually are. They get on social media doing all these videos, but fortunately, the vast majority of black people are not listening to these people. And that is evident by the huge success of The Woman King. So on that note, please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings. Have a great day. And let the haters hate.